Hey, what is up guys? I'm KBHD here, and yesterday was the day one keynote, the main keynote of Google I/O 2018. And they always go hard with software there, and this year was no exception. So we got all kinds of great announcements, new Android P features, especially the interesting new gesture navigation, which will be interesting to play around with pretty shortly. New Google News stuff, new Google Maps features, Android dashboard, all this great stuff. And in the middle of all of that, we got one of the most interesting new announcements. It went by, it was kind of early. If you tuned in late, you might have missed it. Maybe you were just tuning in to find out what Android P would be called. We still don't know, but they shared a behavior in there called Google Duplex. And it's a behavior inside of Google Assistant that they're still working on. It's a long way from being finished or from us ever using it. So it's maybe a couple years from that, but that's what it's called. So you know how they're always adding new features to Google Assistant to make your life easier, you know, new reminders, new routines, new predictive things, new things it does to help you out. Google Duplex will make it so that you never have to call a service business ever again. So let's say I want to get a haircut next Monday at around noon. And this is at a place that doesn't do online reservations, so you have to call in to make your reservation. And you're not really into that, so what you want to do is ask Google Assistant, hey Assistant, make an appointment for my haircut next Monday around noon. And it will actually call that hair salon, pretend to be a human, talk to the person that picks up, and get you a reservation for that hair appointment at around noon. This is what it sounds like.
How can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a woman's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That was actually amazing. Did Google Assistant just pass the Turing test? Did that just, I think it literally just did. That was a real conversation with a real person at a real salon. That is both amazing and kind of terrifying. It also makes Siri look really bad. It had all the right inflections and pauses and just the intonation, the way it talks was very convincing. Like, I don't know, if I was on the other end of that phone and I got that phone call, I don't know that I would think that that was a robot if I wasn't told ahead of time. I'm pretty sure I would have been convinced that's a human.
I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
It's so human. It's so human, especially the way it responds to those questions. Like, I mean, I guess that lady could have asked anything, but it's very tunneled in on making that appointment, and it was just uncanny. They did another demo on stage as well.
See how may I hear you?
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
Okay, wait, pause right there. That in that sentence, that little pause, the it didn't have to do that but it did.
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
They're using that little pause specifically to mimic a human. Like Google programmed it, they told it to make those sounds to convince the person that they're talking to believe that they're speaking on the phone with a human. And the rest of that call went great too. It had some more challenging things. It was dealing with an accent, some unusual questions it had to respond to, but it nailed it.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people when?
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually we reserve for like after like 5 people. For 4 people you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
For when, tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh no, it's not too busy. You can come for 4 people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh. I like that guy's reaction to at the end. He's like, I don't know if I just witnessed the scariest or most amazing thing that I've ever seen. So there's that on stage, and there's also a bunch more examples in a blog post that Google's posted. I'll drop a link below the like button where there's a bunch more scenarios of things that they've gotten it to successfully navigate through in this human conversation. So that just brings me back to how I feel about it a whole day later. And really, from what I've seen, there's two main sides to this. Number one is the incredible technical achievement of Google with the machine learning and the artificial intelligence and the natural language processing and all of that. This is the culmination of all of their years of listening to our voices to make Duplex this good. It really is something special in 2018. Like, we've all gotten those robocalls that are obviously fake, right? They're like, hi, I'm Karen, wanna go on a cruise? Like, you ask it one question and it immediately falls apart. Like, this seems like it'll legitimately make people's lives easier. But then the whole other side of it, and it's actually bigger than I initially was thinking, is should we be worried about this? So I've seen a lot of reactions to this lately on Twitter especially, and in some videos of people saying, this is a terrible idea. Like, why would Google do this? Tricking somebody into thinking they're talking to a human when they're not. That is deeply concerning. And I understand a lot of it, even though I'm mostly on the side of this particular feature being particularly helpful. But like, if I worked in service, I think I would still want to know when I'm not speaking to a human. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any logical reason why. It doesn't even really matter on my end, but the question is, does Google have an obligation to let that person know that they're not speaking to a human? Didn't have any, like, that stylist clearly didn't know that they were speaking to a robot. I think a lot of people say, yes, you gotta tell them, you gotta immediately let them know that it's a robot. But on the other hand, if you're coming from Google's point of view, you have to mimic a human as closely as possible to make it work. If you wanna actually get the person on the call to pick up and respond to you and book that appointment, they're listening to humans all day, they're talking to people on the phone. If they get a call that just says, hi, I'm a Google Assistant, like, they're probably gonna hang up. They're not gonna wanna answer that. So you actually have to blend in and make it as seamless as possible for Google to do their job and the assistant to actually assist you. It's just weird from our end that, all the ums and the pauses and sounding so human-like when it's not is just uncanny. So I know it's not full open-ended AI. It's not that creepy, like, pseudo-human robo status. Like, it hasn't gotten quite there yet. It has a very specific goal that it has to tunnel in on. But I guess it's interesting that basically you can see these goalposts getting wider. Like, back in the day, we used to just say, look, I just want the assistant to tell me what the weather is tomorrow and just be like as human as possible. So you'd say, hey, Google, do I need a jacket tomorrow? You get your answer. Now the goalpost is, look, I want the assistant to just make a hair appointment for me on Monday. I don't really have the time to call. I'm gonna go get on the train to work. Just make that appointment for me. And now it's gonna start doing that. But then next, the goalpost is gonna be what? Like, I want it to edit my YouTube videos for me. I want it to run a company. I want it to drive me to work. How far does it go? I guess that's really my question at the end of this. How far does it go? I had this conversation briefly with Neil deGrasse Tyson actually in a video. I'll link that below. It's pretty sweet. I would love to have this conversation with Elon Musk. He talks about this kind of stuff all the time. Hit me up, Elon. But for real, it's like one of those AI versus machine learning things where it kind of starts in a box and it's really convincing and excellent and useful in this box, but you got to keep it in that box. But my final thoughts on Google Duplex are this. I don't know if people care that they're talking to a robot. I think there's going to be people on both sides of the spectrum. But I feel like it wouldn't be that bad if you know right off the bat you're talking to a robot. Like, when I trigger the assistant on my phone or on Siri or on Alexa or any of those, and it responds like a human, I know it's a robot still. Like, it can be as seamless and human-like as possible in the voice and the dictation, but it's because I'm triggering it myself in my phone. I know it's a robot. But when you get a phone call and you answer the phone call, that gets weird because you think you're answering and talking to a human, and then you might like find out during that you're actually talking to a robot, and then you were fooled, and then it feels weird. Then it feels creepy. So that brings us to number 2, which is just how far does it go? I always wonder, what are we willing to do with robots? That's a weird question. But really, how far are we gonna go with these robot assistants in our lives? Google Duplex, really triggering the intense questions out here. I'll hang out in the comment section below. It's open-ended. Feel free to let me know what you guys think. But until the next one, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Peace.